The Bardstown Fire Department has received a federal grant worth over $600,000. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has awarded $633,746 to the Bardstown Fire Department. The grant is a huge win for the city of Bardstown, its citizens, and the fire department, according to Captain Todd Spaulding, who handled the grant application. The grant is 100% funded. No matching contributions have to be made by the city. The award was one of 275 grants awarded nationwide in FEMA's Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response, or SAFER, program. In addition to Bardstown, only 2 other Kentucky departments were funded. They are Versailles and Covington. The grant will provide funds to increase and maintain the department's number of trained volunteer firefighters. Its focus on enhancing staffing, response, and operational standards established by the National Fire Protection Association. The department's current staffing is 5 firefighters per shift, but the National Fire Protection Association standard recommends 15 firefighters for a structure fire. That's why it's so important that we have and deploy a healthy, highly trained group of volunteers, said Spaulding. Volunteers have always been an important part of the department, and this is just further proof that they continue to be an integral part. Bardstown Fire Chief Randy Walker said the grant will not only allow us to recognize and reward current dedicated volunteer firefighters, but it will assist in the efforts to encourage community members to provide a great public service by becoming volunteer firefighters. Spaulding noted that the grant will provide the following between December 6, 2016 and December 5, 2020. They include salary and benefits for 1 full-time position as a recruit and retention coordinator. The recruit and retention coordinator will be responsible for the recruitment of new volunteers and explorers. The coordinator will also be responsible for retaining current volunteers and developing short and long-range plans for marketing for recruitment and executing the grant. Also, personal protection equipment and station wear for 7 recruits per year, annual physical exams for all recruits and current volunteers for 4 years, $5,000 per year for college tuition to be distributed to current and new volunteers if establishing criteria of run and training percentages are met along with an acceptable grade point average. Also, $4,500 for the purchase of 3 computers to be used by current and new volunteers for online training, $5,000 per year for marketing to new recruits, $40,000 per year for length of service awards for certain criteria met and for training and run attendance, $2,500 per year for gym memberships, and $15,000 per year for training supplies. The Bardstown Fire Department recently celebrated its 210th anniversary as well, and congratulations to the Bardstown Fire Department on receiving that grant from FEMA. The Lebanon Elementary School Safety Patrol was celebrating their first month of safety. As you can see in this picture, student leaders monitor the hallways before and after school to help keep hallways safe and orderly. Ms. Judy Blackwell is the sponsor of the Safety Patrol team. And in the picture, we have Eva Deering, Kiki Adams, Paris Brown, Patrick Vidito, Chance Smith, Jacob Million, Trey Stein, Connor Zink, Jalil Smith, and Caleb Whitlock, and they are part of the Lebanon Elementary School Safeties and Hall Monitors. Congratulations on helping keep Lebanon Elementary School safe this first month of school. Kenny Fogel was in Bardstown on Wednesday of Kentucky Bourbon Festival week in order to get some video of the Bourbon Compass launching that took place that day. The Bourbon Compass is right outside of the old courthouse right in downtown Bardstown and has points showing where all the local distilleries are for bourbon. Kenny had the opportunity to talk to Dick Heaton and to Gary Bishop, who are co-chairs of the Bourbon Task Force, which is the group that put together the Bourbon Compass at the old courthouse in Bardstown.
Well, today we had the unveiling of our compass, which designates the center of Bardstown as the bourbon capital of the world. Of course, the old courthouse here is sort of a geographical center for our community, so it's the start where the tourism office is, so it's sort of the start of where tourists come when they're traveling the Bourbon Trail, so we felt it was important to kind of establish some kind of a visual location for people to understand where the bourbon capital of the world is. That's the idea of the compass.
Whose brainchild was this?
That was Gary Bishop's brainchild of the compass, and Gary's done a lot of work. He's our co-chairman of the task force along with myself. Kim Houston is the, the staff person through the Nelson County Economic Development Agency. But this was Gary's brainchild, and we shared it with the distilleries, our local distilleries initially. They loved the idea of having each distillery noted on the compass, their location in relation to Bardstown, and they funded it primarily along with some help from the Bardstown Tourist Commission, Nelson County Tourist Commission. So, but we're not just identifying distilleries here in the Bardstown, Nelson County area. It's all the distilleries throughout Kentucky are identified by the bricks that were placed today and earlier in the week.
This idea came out of a lot of discussions that the Bourbon Task Force has had and ongoing for these last 6 or 7 months. I mean, signage that was mentioned today. The bottom line is this compass helps us begin to shape a Bardstown experience, and in this case around bourbon. And going forward, the task force sees that there'll be more bourbon efforts that we're going to undertake, but also how do we broaden the Bardstown experience? And I think we'll have a lot of great things to reveal in the coming months, and we look forward to sharing them with the community.